Nieves is a former NYPD detective and says do not...
Our smiles give you a little bit of a breathe.
Well, Angel, that introduction keeps getting better and better and better. You straighten out all the glitches and it looks great. And speaking of great, we have another good show tonight on a topic that very few people know about. Actually, no, let me introduce you. I'm Ardita Stewart, and that's Angel Nieves, that guy over there, who is a former NYPD detective who happens to love animals, as I do, and as we all do since we are involved with this show. And we love animals to the point where we try to inform you as much as we can about protecting animals, helping animals, adopting animals. And tonight, we're going to talk about a topic that very few people are aware of: pet suffocation. Yeah, I mean, I know you're saying, what did she say? Pet suffocation. Pet suffocation is a little known topic, and our guest tonight is Bonnie Harlan. Bonnie Harlan has a foundation called Pet Suffocation Awareness. And Angel has some tape, and we're going to show the tape, and then we're going to get straight away to our guest.
I'm Bonnie Harlan, founder of the nonprofit Prevent Pet Suffocation. I hear from several distraught pet owners a week who've lost their dogs to pet suffocation.
There you have it, folks. And you know, there's a phrase that you're probably aware of. It's called necessity is the mother of invention. And this foundation evolved from Bonnie having lost her own pet tragically to pet suffocation. And as a result, she has taken it upon herself to advise a lot of people. And Bonnie, I have to make an admission that, you know, I like to research as much as I can on the topic of show topic prior to the guests being interviewed. And I got to say, I mean, I scrounged the internet, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of information out there about pet suffocation, let alone how to prevent it. So with that, I'm going to let you take over.
Okay, well, thank you very much for having me on your show. I love to help spread awareness for our charity, Prevent Pet Suffocation. You're right. The main information out there is from us. And I've been doing this 12 years, almost 11 or 12 years. And back when I started, you could hardly find anything on pet suffocation. And now we have this international, mission. And so it's becoming much more well-known around the world. And so that's the good news. The bad news is there's still a lot of people that don't know about it. They don't know what it is. They don't know how to prevent it. They've never heard of it until, it happens to them. So that's what we do, is educate the public on the suffocation risk our pets face on a daily basis, from food packaging, containers, and that sort of thing.
We've all seen these videos on TikTok and on YouTube of a pet running around with its head stuck in a can or in a bag, and people laughing in the background who find it amusing. And you have to think that they don't realize at that moment that that pet is struggling to breathe. So it suddenly turns from folly to tragedy. So how do you let people know that it's not funny when a dog's head is stuck in a can or when a cat's head is stuck in a potato chip bag?
Well, that's a good question because, it's a little bit controversial at times because people kind of resent it sometimes when you're trying to tell them that's dangerous for your pet. It doesn't make any sense to them. They don't get it. They think it's cute and funny. And it unfortunately becomes quickly very dangerous. And if that owner did not happen to walk in on that animal, there's a good chance he would have suffocated in, less than 5 minutes. So what we do is keep spreading the word. And with the social media and things like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, I'm able to tell this story in many different ways. And we have a big following. So these posts get shared a lot. And so gradually the word does get around. There's still a lot of people that are naysayers, and that's probably always going to be. But that's just, part of what we run into, and it doesn't thwart our efforts. We just realize there's just a lot of people that still don't know about this. And the more people that know, the more dogs' lives are saved.
Can you explain for the doubting Thomases, can you explain the mechanics? I mean, at the risk of being overly graphic, but can you explain the mechanics of how it actually happens?
Right. So you'll see these chip bags and snack bags and popcorn bags and pet food bags and so forth. And they have that shiny mylar material inside of them, kind of like what a balloon has. Well, that material is there to keep snacks fresher. But unfortunately, it causes a vacuum-like seal around the dog's neck. So when they put their head in to maybe sniff around for crumbs, the bag will start to seal around their neck. As the dog continues to breathe or try to breathe, the seal gets tighter, and it doesn't take long to get tight at all. In fact, a lot of people, when they have found their dog like this, they can barely release the seal themselves. So once the dog has a bag over its head, they're not logical, right? They don't have thumbs. They don't understand it. And they get very anxious and very disconcerted. And many of them, kind of run around, sometimes in a circle, etc. But think about it. The dog can't see. There's a bag over its head. They're struggling to breathe. They're not logical. So panic and anxiety set in. So when this happened to me, my dog, in December of 2011, when I came home, I found that he had gone all over the house with his bag over his head, and he ended up from my kitchen upstairs in a game room. Well, he had knocked over lamps and other things and Christmas decorations and so forth, and ended up finally collapsing underneath a table in the corner of my game room with the bag firmly attached over his head. So, that's really what happens. The seal starts securing around the dog's head. They can't get it off. And, after that, hopefully somebody sees them in time, but many times, they don't.
Angel, I think you wanted to say something.
Well, she's answering most of my questions, and I'm sorry for your loss. I think I have a picture of Blue. I'm not sure. So let me know if I'm right.
That's it.
That's Blue right there. Beautiful. Rest in peace. People, they like to gag. They have to YouTube or whatever, TikTok, and they're probably placing themselves so they could show 100 million viewers to see how they're suffocating their pets without even knowing it, which to me is actually animal cruelty. So I see that as a crime, really. But like you said, the vacuum, it keeps that the more it sucks in, right? So
Correct.
that's That is sad. So, and I mean, I don't even think they have a chance to call anybody. I mean, it's not like an ambulance to come in 2 minutes. You have to do it yourself. You have to give the dog the pressure to bring it back to life, or I mean, right now I'm talking to you like this because I'm getting a little bit hysterical myself just thinking about it, But
Well, we encourage people to learn CPR. I've done a pet suffocation survey the last year or so, and maybe 20% of the people who ran into this know pet CPR, and about 10% of them were able to revive their pet. The other thing people need to know is pet suffocation can happen whether you're home or not. And it can happen when you're in the same room with them. I had a family recently, had some friends over, they were watching TV, eating pizza, and the dog was kind of, bothering them, wanting some pizza. So they put the dog in the kitchen. And when they went in on commercial, the dog had gotten a chip bag off the counter and was already gone by that time. And they were just in the next room. So you don't have to be gone. Oftentimes people are home, and it doesn't matter the size of your dog or the breed or the age. All dogs are vulnerable to pet suffocation because no animal can win a battle against lack of oxygen. So people will say to me, well, my dog's too big. A bag can't even go over his head. Well, there are plenty of bags that can go over a Great Dane's head. But they'll say, my dog is so strong, he could get that bag right off. Mm-hmm. No, he can't. And if there are some holes that happen to be in the bag, fine. Maybe that will extend his time until somebody can find him. So size, age, breed doesn't matter. Every dog is vulnerable. Now, the good news is you can take steps to prevent pet suffocation. And that's what we want to tell people. That's how we educate them. Yes, this is a risk. It can happen. But you can do some things in your own home and in your car and in your yard and your garage to try to ensure this doesn't happen to you.
Which is one of the ways.
Pardon?
Which is one of the ways.
Okay, there are a few things you can do, and they're really pretty simple. The first thing I tell people is take all your snack bags, take all your snacks and your pet food and your chips and everything and store them in containers. Then you want to cut up your bags. Cut your chip bags up, your snack bags, your popcorn, cookie, cheese bags, whatever. Whatever bag I come into contact with in my kitchen, it gets cut up. And so then, exactly, just like that picture, then you want to throw them away safely. So you want to cut up your bags. You want to store your snacks in containers. You want to keep your pantry door closed. And you want to also keep a lid on your trash can or keep it behind a counter or a cabinet so your pet can't get access to it. Unfortunately, when my dog got his Cheetos bag, it was in a paper bag of trash that was sitting in my kitchen. We did not know about the risk, and it just happened to have some overflow of trash, and that's where that chip bag ended up. So you also don't want to leave your bags out on counters or you're in your bedroom or on your desk or your dining room table. We all like to watch TV and take a snack bag with us or something. And we've had several people that have kind of fallen asleep, taken a nap, and left the bag on the coffee table. And when they woke up, their pet was dead. So there are things you can do, and those are a few of them. We have many listed on our website, preventpetsuffocation.com. Another thing you want to do is educate your family and your friends about these dangers. That includes pet sitters and babysitters, anyone that comes in contact with you, your family, or your pet. Okay. I had my pet sitter stop by today. She's going to let my dog out a few times next week. And I reminded her, you cannot have any food bags here. You can't have any food out, that type of thing. You just keep telling people. So if a lot of times it might be your friend has somebody over to play, your kid has somebody over to play with, and they've got snacks in their backpack or the purse or that kind of thing. So by educating people around you, then everybody starts to use the practices of pet suffocation prevention. And so we really recommend that. And I also suggest people learn CPR, like I mentioned to you before. I did not know CPR when my dog died. And when I found him in the corner, I called my vet, crying, hysterical, and he walked me through CPR, which, obviously was a little too late. But I don't want that to run into that again. I want to be able to, help an animal, in distress. So those are some of the things you can do. They're not complicated. They're just educational information. And your best tool in your kitchen is a pair of scissors.
But there's also not only dogs, right? It's cats and any other pets.
Exactly.
Even wildlife.
Definitely. So cats tend to get into containers and tight spaces and things like that. Appliances like a washing machine. We've had several die in the kitty litter containers. What?
Did you mention a washing machine?
Yeah, somebody will leave the washing machine open, the door or the dryer door, and a cat will go in and just for warmth, or they like these small spaces, and somebody may close the lid and not realize their pet has gotten into there. So I kind of remind people, cats can jump really high, so don't leave snack bags and food bags and bread bags on top of your refrigerator. Or your other appliances and on your counters and things like that. And so, yes, it's definitely your domestic pets, including birds, especially if your bird happens to be flying around your house. And a lot of birds do that. And our wildlife, people will say to me, why do I need to cut up my chip bags? I don't even own a dog. Well, I tell them it's for your wildlife and your stray dogs and the feral pets and cats and so forth that are roaming around. They're running wild, they're in landfills, things like that. So when you're camping or hiking or at the beach, take the extra time to, dispose of your trash properly, cut up your bags, put your snacks and food in containers so you don't have that problem. We've all seen videos of, deer and squirrels and birds with, containers and bags over their head. Yeah. And if they don't have a lucky human nearby to help them, then they can easily die as well.
Yes. Would it be fair to say that it is important when disposing of a plastic container just to punch a hole in the bottom of it, so God forbid, should an animal get its head stuck in there, at least there'd be air coming in until that animal could get relieved?
Right. So when I say if I'm throwing away a peanut butter jar, I would put the lid on very tightly so a dog would not be able to, or a cat put their head into a peanut butter jar. I've seen a lot of them in yogurt cups and Pringles cans, things like that. So yes, if you can make extra holes in them or crush them, etc., that's only going to help, our animals and the wildlife, as well.
Is there a request, shall we say, to container manufacturers to put an advisory on these bags or on containers about what is happening with pet suffocation?
So a few years ago, I started an online petition on change.org for Frito Lay to add warning labels to their chip bags and their snack bags. We almost have 50,000 signatures.
Wow.
So the more I get on that, the better as well for when I do deliver it. And people will say to me, well, why do you need labels on bags? Dogs can't read. Yes, you're right. They can't read, but we can. And the more we know, the better we can be in protecting our pets. And you can find that petition on the homepage of our website, preventpetsuffocation.com. And it's also on, change.org.
50,000 is a stunning number of people who have signed. It's also very impressive, and it's hopeful. I mean, it's sort of beyond stunning. It's hopeful because it shows that a lot of people are concerned about that. Statistics. Do you have any statistics on how many animals tragically suffer this suffocation fate per year?
Well, I keep track of everyone that I come into contact with. Anyone that reports it to me, I have a running log. That number's close to 2,000. But that's just very, very, very few. If I hear from 2 to 3 pet owners a week, that's just me. Think about what's really going on in the world. And a lot of people don't report this. Who are they going to report it to other than me, right? Because they think it's a fluke. It's an accident. They're embarrassed. They're upset. They don't know what this is. So a lot of people don't report it. But if you take my numbers and you extrapolate them worldwide, that's a pretty big number, is what I think. And my numbers change all the time because I might hear from someone today who says, well, my dog suffocated 8 years ago. So I just now found out about you. I had somebody sent me a comment yesterday. Where were you 4 years ago? I wish I would have known, So yeah, those numbers, change. They just get bigger. And I know if I'm hearing from this many people and documenting them, that it's a lot bigger than I can even get my head around. But I hear from people really all over the world, countries everywhere, that reach out and say, I lost my dog and I'm devastated. So,
Angel, I think you wanted to jump in there.
I'm just listening. I mean, I really want to hear her voice, and the reason is because this I wanted to go globally. It's not only New York or Texas or America. This is everywhere. I mean, people are just throwing garbage around, littering, and just throwing it. This global warming, all that stuff. But the people are still doing it just for the heck of it. They just don't throw it inside the garbage can, even though it's close to them. And at home too, people leave it, stuff around the house. It's my house. No one's here. You got your pet there. You got a dog, you got a cat, you got a bird, a lizard, whatever it is. You have to think about them. And people just don't go by that until it happens. It didn't happen before. It's not happening now. Well, what you want to happen? And I mean, this is so important. I want people to understand how important this really is about animals suffocating, because it will go like this, and there's no going back.
Right. It does. It happens very quickly. And again, most people don't know about it until it happens to them. And then they're our biggest advocates. They share, they donate, they tell their friends and their family all through their grief. And the nice thing about our Facebook page is it also serves as an amazing support group for people that have gone through it, because so many of the followers have had it happen to them or someone they know. So I tell them it will help with your healing, because so many people understand your sadness, and people feel very guilty, and they think they've done something really, horrible to their pet. And I tell them, you can't prevent what you don't know is a problem. So don't beat yourself up about it. Now you know, and now you can help the next person. Your pet's story will help save other pets' lives.
Right.
Is there a particular region of the world or in the United States where this is more prevalent than other areas?
No,
it's equally distributed all over the country.
Because everybody's eating and everybody buys food bags and pet food bags and cheese bags and frozen vegetable bags and containers, oatmeal containers and yogurt and so forth. So it crosses all states. You know, Canada is, I hear from them a lot. I hear from the UK a lot, and Australia a lot. So yeah, it's not just in one area. So that's why we have to have this global reach. So everybody knows about it and, you know, and does their part. And we've made a lot of progress. I mean, from where it was when I did this in 2012 and to where we are now, it's been a big step.
What about dry cleaner bags? I remember when my daughter was little, there was not a campaign, but it was standard for dry cleaners to list on the bags,
right,
that that be very careful because your child could suffocate, and they were adamant about that, and that was in response to a number of children who had tragically suffocated from those bags. So is that advisory also extends, I take it, to pets?
Very few bags have I ever seen with a warning about pets. Occasionally, but not very often. I think they're required to for babies and infants and children, but there aren't really any regulations for pets. And so, you know, that's why one of the reasons we're trying to get Frito Lay to add that warning label. It's just one step of the process. It doesn't cure it, but it does help. And so we're definitely not giving up on that. We would love to be an advocate with them and work with them to, you know, help get that message out, because I feel like, you know, as the biggest distributor of snack bags, you know, you have an obligation to warn your consumers if one of your products can hurt children or pets.
Yeah, but one of the ways to do this also is that we learn from the past is that most of the labels go up because they get sued. So they get sued by a large amount of people. That's going to say, "Oh, we got to start putting this up because of insurance reasons." So that's that. I mean, that's giving a hint. You know,
it's really hard to do class action lawsuits and things like that on pets. They're like, well, what's the value of a pet? I mean, it's just different, you know. So rather than trying to get into litigation, we're trying to come through it as, let's work together. We love your food. We like the snacks. We also love our pets. I'm sure you love your consumers as well. So maybe we can work together to help get the word out about this.
I know that you've mentioned potato chip bags. Is it fair to say that the issue is with bags of that type across the board, or is there a specific manufacturer that?
No, it can be any brand. You know, it can be off brands and popular brands and so forth. So I look at any bag as a potential danger to my dog. I'll even tear up a paper sack. I don't care. You know, I'm just like, I'd rather do it and not worry about it. And I still have to remind people in my own family, wait, did you cut that bag up? Oh, I forgot. You know, it's an ongoing thing. And that's why I tell people you really have to keep working with your kids. And here's another thing. When you have guests come and visit, you know, the in-laws or your children or that type of thing, I tell my guests as well. I ask them, do you have any food or snacks in your purse, your backpack, or your suitcase? Well, I forgot to do it last year. It was busy. We had a lot of company. Some relatives came. We all went to dinner. And my dog is crated when I go. We have these amazing crates, and I'm so paranoid, I crate him when I leave. Somehow that day, that night, he was able to push this wooden door open. Well, my alarm went off, and I got a message, your alarm's gone off. Well, it only meant one thing. My dog had to have escaped. So I was freaking out. I said, well, we have to go home. We have to go home. Well, it took about 10 minutes to get home. Ran into the house. My dog did greet us at the door, which was like, oh, thank God. And then I see on the carpet in the hallway was a plastic bag of almonds. The almonds were all gone. The bag was chewed up, and they weren't my almonds. Well, it was a relative of mine. My dog had gotten out of the crate, run downstairs to that person's suitcase, and took that bag of almonds out. So that's how strong their sense of smell is. Yeah. And I was freaked out. I just forgot to ask these people. They all know what I do. So I kind of think, oh, but I didn't say, hey, do you have anything in your suitcase? And that's what happened. So it can happen even to me again in a blink of an eye. So I tell people, when you have people come over and stay or visiting, don't be afraid to ask them, I've confiscated food and put it in my kitchen cabinets from visitors. And I have no problem doing that.
Okay, my next question is going to sound a little strange, but I worked in news for many, many years, and I recall having covered a tragic fire in Brooklyn. There were 2 cats that were rescued by a wonderful fireman. The cats were in very bad condition, and I recall those firemen putting an oxygen mask on those cats to the point where the oxygen tank itself was depleted by the time that I had left. But the good news is that those firemen had managed to revive the cats. So it sounds extreme, but should people who can afford it and who have pets that they love keep a small oxygen canister in the unlikely event that they would come home one day and they need to revive their pet?
Well, I have not thought of that. I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, if they knew how to use it and they knew how to work it, how could it hurt, right? Exactly. So I have not thought about that particular thing. So maybe it's something to definitely, look into. Hopefully, if you know CPR, that could work as well. I do have a video of CPR posted on our website. It's very easy to understand, and I always suggest people go and look at that as well. You can't be too careful.
We've covered a lot of ground, and we're getting towards the end of our show, but I'd like you to tell people once again about how they can find your organization, because you are a 501c3. So cash is king, and it would be great if people can donate to the cause. You help other people, you also end up helping yourself in that process. So again, how can people volunteer, help spread the word, and send you money?
Well, we definitely are a charity, and we do ask for donations. We do raise money for that because I do a lot of things with it. It could be our updated website. It can be the infographics, PSAs, the survey I just did, our public relations announcements, it's so forth. Everything obviously, takes money, and every donation goes directly to the mission, period. So you can reach us on any of our social media sites and our website is preventpetsuffocation.com. There is a donation button on there. And if you would like to help that way, that would be amazing. We also ask people to, follow us on all our accounts, share our post, tell your friends, sign our petition. Just even if you just do one or two little things that helps get the word out, then we're doing, a nice thing to help keep everybody's dogs and cats alive.
Indeed you are, Bonnie, and thank you for being a guest and informing the public about the dangers of things that you don't assume are dangerous to your pet. Never assume. And with that guy over there gets the last word. Angel, you get the last word, and you're going to take us out. Not literally.
I got no money. So you guys got to tip it because I got no money.
I didn't mean it that way, folks.
Well, Bonnie, thank you.
Thank
you. This is people, you have to understand how important it is because it's your pet on the line if you don't follow her steps. And I want people to please spay and neuter your pets. And do you know where your pets are? But before we leave, I want to finish it off with one of your videos, Bonnie.
Okay.
I'm going to finish it off with your video, and then we're going to sign right off, okay?
All right. Thank you very much. Dogs suffocate in chip bags, snack bags, and pet food bags every day. I'm Bonnie Harlan, founder of the nonprofit Prevent Pet Suffocation. I hear from several distraught pet owners a week who've lost their dogs to pet suffocation. These Mylar-type bags create a vacuum-like seal around the dog's neck. As he tries to breathe, the bag tightens, cutting off the oxygen. Pet size or breed does not matter. Pet suffocation happens within minutes. The problem is most people don't know about the risk until it happens to their pet. By then, it's usually too late. To prevent pet suffocation, cut up all food bags. Store food and snacks out of reach of your pet. Keep your trash safely secured. Serve snacks in glass bowls or containers and learn CPR. Please help us by sharing on social media and educating your family and friends. Visit our website at preventpetsuffocation.com to learn how to keep dogs, cats, and wildlife safe. The pet you save may be your own.